Welcome to Come Get Woo Woo. We're your hosts, Becky and Ro, here to hold space for the unseen, the unspoken, and the deeply felt. This is a place for seekers, for those who sense that there's more, for those who hear between the words, feel beyond the room, and know without knowing why.
Together, we'll explore the language of spirit, the clarity of your clairs, and the signs that rise up when you're ready to notice. You're not imagining it, you're remembering it. This is Come Get Woo Woo.
What if the forest isn't silent? The rivers remember? And what if the land itself is listening? If you've ever stepped into the forest and felt like you were being watched, not in a frightening way, or if you've ever stood near water and felt it holding something ancient, maybe you felt like the wind was carrying a message. If you feel that nature isn't just scenery, then this episode is for you. Hey, woo seekers. Welcome to Come Get Woo Woo with Becky and Ro. I'm Becky.
And I'm Ro. Today we're stepping into the hidden realms of the elemental and nature worlds. Realms that may be far more alive than we've been taught to believe. Across cultures and centuries, people have spoken of an awareness moving through the elements, given that intelligence a face through stories of dryads in the trees and gnomes in the earth. We're going to explore the distinct vibe between these forces, from the vast elemental consciousness of the undines and the salamanders to the localized spirits of the land and the domestic guardians of your own home. We'll talk about why this connection doesn't require special abilities or living in the woods. It's not about being a mystic. It's about being open enough to notice the intelligence already operating around you. We're going to get into the mechanics of communication, how to identify the elemental signatures of fire, water, earth, and air in your body and in your environment, whether it's a sudden shift in the air, a localized warmth, or a heavy, grounded feeling of the land. We'll discuss how these forces offer protection, guidance, and unseen support. And we'll also clear up some misconceptions. We'll share what these beings don't do, and we'll share grounded tools for working with them in your daily life without over-interpreting or giving your power away. And before we dive in, remember this: these spirits aren't here to control your path. They are the ancient architects and unseen partners here to support your awareness, your choices, and your connection to the planet exactly as you are.
Before we step into the realm of the elementals and nature worlds, we want to pause for a quick moment. If you've been enjoying this journey with us, if something has resonated or supported you, we truly appreciate you following the podcast and leaving a review. It helps more than you know.
Those likes, reviews, and subscriptions really do make a difference. They help this podcast reach more people who are curious, open, or just starting their own path. That's something we really care about, getting this into the ears of the seekers who need it. So thank you for being part of helping this grow. So Becky, can you explain what the elementals are?
Gladly. They're a shared understanding that nature is more than physical matter. It carries patterns, presence, and intelligence. We often think of the world as a collection of things, but ancient wisdom suggests it's a collection of processes. The elements, earth, air, fire, water, and ether, are the alphabet of the process. They are the language of how life organizes itself. Earth is the intelligence of structure, so the bones of the mountains and the bones of the body. Air is the intelligence of movement, so the wind of the trees and the electrical impulses of your thoughts. Fire is the intelligence of metabolism, the heat of the sun, and the spark of your digestion and passion. Water is the intelligence of cohesion, the flow of the river, and the intuitive emotional ties of subconscious. Ether is the intelligence of space, the vastness of the cosmos, and the silent awareness behind your every breath. Over time, traditions have given forces names and stories, elementals, dryads, and gnomes, as a way of making the vastness of nature relatable. It's much harder for the human mind to talk to the abstract concept of geological stability than it is to relate to the gnome or an earth guardian. By persifying these patterns, we move from being observers of nature to being participants in it. At its core, this isn't necessarily about tiny beings hiding in the trees. It's about recognizing that nature operates through constant, powerful patterns, and that humans have always tried to relate to those patterns in personal ways. When you feel the presence of an old forest, you are sensing the accumulated memory of the ecosystem. When you feel the shift in a room, you're sensing the energetic signature of space. Whether you understand symbolically or spiritually, the idea suggests that the forces shaping the land also shape us. We aren't separate from nature. We are localized expressions of it. When traditions speak of elemental realms, they are describing the nervous system of the earth and how our own consciousness plugs into it. When we work with these spirits, we aren't just casting spells, we are aligning our personal rhythm with the ancient, steady rhythm of the living world. Pretty powerful stuff, isn't it?
It is. It is.
This is one of the reasons why we went down this rabbit hole. So, Ro, do you want to start us off with explaining the elements?
Yes, I'll start us off with air. Air is one of those elements we don't really think about until it's everywhere. It's your thoughts, your conversations, the way you process something before you even realize you're doing it. Air governs the unseen forces of the intellect, thought, communication, speed, and perspective. It represents the breath of life, sound, imagination, and the ability to travel instantly. In each of the realms, we found that there are faes. So the air fae are the sentient consciousness behind the winds, storms, and the unseen current of thought. They are quick, changeable, and thrive on movement and interaction. The first one we have is the sylphs, the pure philosophical elemental consciousness of air itself. They represent the collective force of the atmosphere, communication networks, and the speed of thought. The next is the fairies and pixie sprites. They are the classic winged fae that inhabit the air. They are quick-witted, chaotic, and playful, often acting as messengers or tricksters. Next is the harpies. This is a fierce bird-like creature of the wind. They represent the destructive side of air, such as violent storms and chaos, and they are known for snatching things away instantly. And next we have the dryads of the wind, also known as anemones, similar to tree dryads. These nymphs are bound to the movement of specific winds. They control the speed and direction of localized breezes and gales. Next we have is the banshees, spirits of the air connected to sound and prophecy. While it is often associated with death, they are technically messengers of the air, transmitting warning through their haunting cries. The next are the gremlins. These are the modern air technological tricksters. Since air governs communication and networks, gremlins represent the chaotic interference in those systems. They are the glitch in the machine or the misunderstanding in the text message.
I think we've had one of those today.
Yes. Yeah, that was the gremlin that pressed stop accidentally. And then next is the majestic mystical creature, the thunderbird, a vast atmospheric spirit that represents the power of the storm and the absolute authority of the sky. It moves the air section from playful pixies to awe-inspiring powers. So animals like eagles, ravens, butterflies, and bats embodies air's energy, perspective, intellect, transformation, and communication. If you are experiencing racing thoughts or need to change your perspective on a problem, air is likely active. So, Becky, do you want to go over how air corresponds to the directions?
Absolutely. So I found this very interesting. Air is actually represented by the direction of east. It represents the direction of new ideas. Think of it this way. East is where the sun rises, representing the literal and symbolic birth of awareness. It is the direction of the morning breeze, bringing fresh perspective and clearing away any stagnant energy of the night. Because of that, the time of day that it represents is actually sunrise, it's the awakening of consciousness. Just like the sun wakes the world, sunrise wakes the mind. It is the moment when the conscious mind takes over from the subconscious, making it the perfect time for setting intentions, brainstorming, and beginning a new project. We talk about this before, where some of my best ideas or my best collective downloads is that time right before I wake up, but not really wake up. The season that it's actually represents is spring. Again, it's breath of renewal. Spring is when the world breathes again. The icy stagnant of winter melts away, replaced by movement, rapid growth, and return of the songbirds, representing sound and communication. It is the season of fast-changing weather, mimicking the fast-changing nature of thoughts. So some of the attributes that air qualities have is intelligent, perspective, and communication. Air is the element that allows us to step back, look down from the high place, which is perspective, and analyze what we see, which is intellect, and share our feelings with others, which is communication. It is the essential medium for all connection. How this all functions is when air energy is amplified, activity increases. You may notice rapid learning or a sudden influx of new ideas or the need to speak your truth. Air functions by moving and connecting. It disperses stagnant energy and brings clarity through perspective. It doesn't hold steady. It's constantly shifting. Some of the ways that it might actually show up is inspiration or perspective shifts. Like we've talked about before, it lifts your mind out of stagnation. While studying, traveling, or listening to the wind, you might feel a sudden mental clarity or a surge of creativity or even a detachment of emotional heaviness. If you've ever felt completely energized by a brisk breeze or gained new understanding while looking down from a high place, it's air energy amplifying your intellect and your perspective. So one of the ways that you can work with the energy of air is a breath work ritual for clarity. Air supports mental movement and releasing rigid thinking. If you're feeling mentally blocked, confused, or anxious, air helps you shift your mindset and breathe through challenges. So Practice deep breathing, focusing on sensation of air entering and leaving your body. Then write down a limited belief on a piece of paper and let it fly away with the wind, or safely shred it. Visualize your thoughts as clouds moving across the sky, allowing them to pass without attachment. You might even ask yourself, what perspective do I need to see this situation clearly?
I love the examples here to work with air.
I agree, because they talk about breath work being so important. I actually had one class that they actually made you breathe so deeply and then hold it, because what you're doing is you're actually providing more oxygen to your brain, and your brain works at a different level when you oxygize it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So now we have fire.
Yeah. So fire is the elemental intelligence of transformation and passion. Fire governs the energetic force of life, transformation, passion, creativity, and destruction. It represents action, willpower, intuition, and the ability to change form. Now, the Fire Fae are the sentient consciousness behind flames, electricity, and internal drive. They are intense, rapid, and demand respect for their volatile nature. First, we have the salamanders. They're the pure philosophical elemental consciousness of fire itself. They represent the collective force of combustion, heat, and raw energy. Then we have the will-o'-the-wisps. They are ethereal lights found in swamps or desolate places. They act as deceptive guides, luring travelers off safe paths and lead them into danger or to their doom. Don't want to meet one of those guys.
I was thinking that same. That doesn't sound very good.
No. And then we have the imp. They're small, chaotic fire spirits often found in domestic settings, specifically around hearths or stoves. They are mischievous tricksters that thrive on causing disruption and sparks of conflict. And then we have our majestic, mystical creature, the phoenix. The majestic, cyclical consciousness of rebirth. It governs the ability to burn away the old self, to be totally renewed, representing the highest form of fire energy. Now, that's a creature I wouldn't mind meeting.
Actually, that's one of my very favorite. I thought about getting a tattoo. I just haven't committed to it yet.
Mm-hmm. And animals like lions, hawks, dragons, and lizards embody fire's energy, courage, vision, ferocity, and heat management. If you feel a sudden burst of inspiration or intense anger, fire energy is likely active.
Very cool. I'm a huge fan of hawks. I see them all the time.
I don't think I've ever associated them with fire, though.
No, it kind of makes sense, though, because they have this kind of fiery red color to them, or at least the ones I have out here. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'll go over where fire lives, if you will, direction-wise. It forms in the south. It's the direction of peak energy. In the northern hemisphere, the sun reaches its highest point in intensity in the south. It represents the apex of power, willpower, and raw energy needed to make things happen. We're going through all the elements, and I'm thinking in my head all the zodiac signs that go with it, and it describes them to a T.
Well, I think this follows the Bazi as well.
Yeah, I know. You don't think of it that way, but when we put all these pieces together, it 100% makes sense. So the time of day obviously is going to be the peak. That is going to be noon. It's the height of focus. The sun is directly overhead, casting no shadows. This represents absolute clarity, intense focus, and a peak of physical and mental energy. It is a time for taking decisive action and making things move. Now, this doesn't surprise me that the season happens to be summer, which is the season of passion. Summer is the manifestation of fire. It is hot, rapid, productive, and intense. It is the time when energy is at its maximum, leading to growth, creativity, and destruction, like wildfires making way for new life. You know, I never thought of it that way, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Some of the attributes, fire energy, is passion, action, and purification. Fire is the only element that transforms everything it touches. It fuels our passion, drives us to take action, and purifies by burning away what no longer serves us. When fire energy is amplified, activity increases. We may notice a rush of activity, a surge of energy, or a compelling need to take action. Fire functions by consuming and changing. It breaks down old structures to create something new. It doesn't slowly build, it burns and transforms instantly. So some of the ways that it might show up is through inspiration and purification. Like we talked about earlier, fire tends to heighten your internal drive and purify your surroundings while creating art, working out, or sitting by a fireplace. You might feel the intense rush of energy, the sudden realization of truth, or the desire to let go of toxic situation. If you've ever felt completely energized by a bright sunny day or found clarity by staring into the flame, the fire energy is amplifying your willpower and passion. Some of the ways that you can work with this energy is actually pretty simple. It's a candle ritual for transformation. Fire supports rapid change, releasing what no longer serves you. If you're feeling stagnant, unmotivated, or need to burn away fear, fire helps you shift the energy instantly. Light a candle with intention, focusing on what you wish to transform. Write down a fear or habit on a piece of paper and safely burn it into flames. Or you can watch flame and focus on the heat, feeling your willpower ignite. Sometimes you can even ask yourself, what am I ready to burn away to make room for something new?
Ah, I like these as well.
I think they're very simple, but yet very powerful.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now on to Earth. Earth is the elemental intelligence of stability and structure. Earth governs the physical foundation of our lives, stability, structure, growth, and endurance. It represents the physical body, resources, and the tangible world. Fae of the Earth realm are the sentient consciousness behind the soil, mountains, and roots. They are grounded, enduring, and fiercely protective of their boundaries. First, we have the gnomes. They are pure, philosophical, elemental consciousness of the earth itself. They represent the collective force of stability, structure, and the mineral wealth of the planet. Next, we have the brownies. They are small domestic fae that inhabit homes and farms. They are helpful and nurturing to those who show gratitude, but will depart or cause minor mischief if taken for granted. The next are the earth dryads. They are the nymphs bound to specific trees. Their life force is tied directly to the health of their tree. They are nurturing but devastatingly protective. The next are the dwarves. They are the masters of the stone and metalworking within the earth. They are secretive, industrious, and transactional, often guarding treasures or hoarding knowledge. Then we have the goblins. They are chaotic and unpredictable. Earth Fae found in caves, mines, or dark corners. They are highly transactional, often hoarding shiny objects or scraps, and are known to cause chaos to established order. Then we have the majestic, mystical creature trolls. So they are immense, slow-moving creatures of stone and earth, often associated with mountains, bridges, and deep caves. They are intensely territorial, stubborn, and dangerous to travelers who do not respect their boundaries. Now, Anastasia and I went to Norway. There is a troll museum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So do you have any pictures of the troll museum?
I don't know. I would have to go check. I'm not sure if we took any pictures inside the museum, but I will find.
Yeah, it'd be fun to put those on the extras if you had one. Yeah.
It was a cute thing to do while we were there.
I'm not going to lie. I think of trolls and I think of the troll dolls that we used to have growing up with the rainbow hair or the bright hair. So
no, these were big, huge trolls.
It's just like goblins. You know, this whole episode so far has reminded me, like one of my favorite movies growing up was the movie Labyrinth. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's quite fascinating. Now I'm going to have to watch it again.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
Earth dragons are also associated with the earth element.
Cool.
And then animals like bears, bulls, ants, and badgers embody Earth's energy, strength, hard work, patience, and stamina. So if you feel compelled to organize your home or connect with nature during a chaotic time, Earth energy is likely active. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. The Earth is the geometry of grounding. The direction that Earth represents is north. It is the direction of roots and ancestors. So north represents the coldest point, where the land is frozen, solid, and enduring. It is the direction of magnetic pole, anchoring the planet and symbolizing our roots, our ancestors, and foundational structures of our lives. So the time of day that this represents is nighttime. Night is when the world slows down, becomes quiet, still, and grounded. It is the time to build internal structures, rest the physical body, and dream of foundations you want to manifest in waking world. Now, as you can probably guess, the season is winter. It's inner endurance. Winter is the ultimate expression of earth energy. The world appears dead on the surface, but underneath, life is holding steady, conserving energy, and building strength for growth that will come later. It represents patience and endurance. So some of the biggest attributes of earth energy is stability, endurance, and foundation. So earth is the element that holds everything together. It gives us a physical body to inhabit, a home to live in, and the endurance to survive challenges. It is the bedrock upon which all elements build. Very interesting. When earth energy is amplified, structure increases. You may notice a need for security, a desire to clean or garden, or a feeling of being firmly anchored. Or earth functions by grounding and holding. It provides a structure needed for life to grow. Some of the ways that it might show up, pretty obvious: grounding and physicality. Earth tends to solidify your connection to the physical world. Like hiking, gardening, or walking barefoot, you might actually feel a sense of calm, realization of your own strength, or a strong urge to protect your home. If you've ever felt completely steady while standing on a mountain, or found comfort in holding a smooth stone, that's earth energy amplifying your sense of belonging. I do this with Teddy. For those that don't know, Teddy is my tree. And I felt his energy waking up. It was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Some of the ways that you can actually work on this is grounding rituals for stability. Earth obviously supports physical grounding and structure. If you're feeling scattered, anxious, or unanchored, Earth helps you settle and find your center. Some of the ways that you can actually work with this is walk barefoot on soil, grass, or sand. We actually have a saying at the salon. I shouldn't probably say this, but I am. Because in our job, sometimes it gets really, really overwhelming. Every time somebody is getting a little frazzled, you have like, do you need to go roll in the grass? Actually, it started, you go walk in the grass, but sometimes you just need to go roll in the grass.
You know what we could do is have like one of those little buckets and put some sand in there. When you're having a rough day, you just stand in the sand.
Or just even pull and pick up the sand and have it run through your fingers.
Yeah.
That's another way. Yeah. Sorry. Well, touch a tree or a large rock, and that is another way that you can feel its endurance.
Oh, very cool.
So one of the things that you might even ask yourself while you're doing all this is, what do I need to feel safe and supported right now?
These are very easy things you could do.
Yes. And very practical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Next, we have water. Water is the elemental intelligence of flow and emotion. Water governs the unseen layers of our emotional lives: fluidity, intuition, adaptability, and depth. It represents the movement of the subconscious and our capacity for being receptive. Now, the water fae are the sentience of consciousness behind the tides, rivers, and storms. They are transactional and deeply sensitive to disrespect. The first fae we have is the Undines. They are the pure, philosophical, elemental consciousness of the water. They represent the collective force of all water, tides, rain, and storms. Receptive and transformative, but can be overwhelming if they flood a space with too much emotion. The next is the Naiads. They are the freshwater nymphs bound to specific springs, wells, and streams. They are nurturing and protective of their source, bringing healing or prophecy if honored. The Nixies are deceptive, shape-shifting spirits of deep rivers and lakes, known for the alluring music, haunting beauty, and clever, dangerous contracts. Now, the Nereids are the 50 sea nymphs who act as gentle protectors of sailors and ships in the Mediterranean, often depicted helping humans navigate storms. The next are the Kelpies. Now, they are deadly, shape-shifting, unseelie spirits that haunt freshwater lochs, appearing as horses to lure travelers to their doom.
I don't think I want to catch one of those.
No. Any horses in the waters that are, no, you want to stay away from. Next, we have the majestic, mystical creature, merfolk. They are powerful, secretive guardians of the seas, mysteries, treasures, and marine life. Next is the majestic, mystical creature, oceanids. They are majestic nymphs of the vast ocean currents and bays, protective, expansive, and deeply connected to the secrets of the abyss. And sea serpents are also part of the water realm. Animals like dolphins, whales, frogs, and octopuses embody water's energy, emotional depth, sensitivity, and subconscious awareness. If you are dreaming of oceans during period of transition, water energy is likely active. I never thought of it that way.
I never did either. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Going with the correspondence, water is the geometry of emotion. The direction that water energy represents is the west. It's the direction of the depths and the unseen. West is where the sun sets, symbolizing the end of a conscious day and the descent into the subconscious night. It is the direction of vast oceans, representing the unknown depths of our emotions and intuition. The time of day obviously goes with the sunset. It's the turning of the tides. Sunset is the magical boundary between day and night. So when reality becomes fluid and shadows grow long, it is the perfect time for reflection, releasing the events of the day and connecting with the intuitive wisdom. The season that represents water is autumn. It is the season of release. Autumn is when nature lets go. Trees drop their leaves, mimicking the emotional process of releasing what no longer serves us. It is the time of transition, and as the world prepares for the quiet interception of winter. So some of the attributes of water is going to be reflective, release, and transition. So water is the element of adaptability. It teaches us how to reflect on our experiences, release emotional baggage that weighs us down, and transition gracefully through the changing tides of life. When water energy is amplified, a depth increases. You may notice stronger emotional awareness, heightened intuition, and a need to release or cry. Water functions by flowing and feeling. It softens rigidity and connects you to your inner world. It doesn't force, it moves around obstacles. So some of the ways that you might actually work with this is emotional release near water. Water tends to soften emotional barriers. Near rivers, lakes, oceans, or even a bath, you might feel unexplained tears, heightened intuition, or memories surfacing. If you've ever cried more easily at the ocean, felt reflective by a lake, or processed emotions in the shower, that's water energy amplifying emotional release and depth. So some of the ways that you can actually work with this is a bath or a water ritual for emotional release. Water supports emotional movement and softening. If you're holding tension, grief, or overwhelmed, water helps things flow instead of being stagnant. So take a bath or a shower with awareness, knowing that you're trying to release something. As the water runs over you, imagine it carrying away what is leaving you feeling heavy. Place your hands in a bowl of water and speak what you're ready to release. You might even ask yourself, what am I ready to let move through me? Just these have been so powerful.
Oh, I agree. And so easy to do, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. So we actually both have done companion meditations for these elements.
Yes, I took the mystical animals and the elements. Air, we're going to clear mental fog with the Thunderbird's storm. For fire, we're experiencing the rebirth in the phoenix's flames. Water, we're going to find emotional flow with the sea serpent. And earth, we're going to secure absolute grounding with the obsidian dragon. How about you?
Oh, those sound fascinating.
It was fun to do.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Mine is actually taking you through each of the elements and letting you feel it through your body. For earth, you feel it in your stability in your legs and your feet, and then it goes from there.
Oh, very cool.
Very, very different, but strength in both of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The companions, we're going to mention that on our website.
Oh, yes. Companions are located in, if you go to our website and you will find that it's actually a button in Come Get Woo Woo with Becky and Roe podcast, a section that says Companion Meditations.
It's also on the drop-down menu for the
Oh.
meditations as well.
Very true. Yes.
And I think we're going to put it in a newsletter.
Oh, that sounds a great idea.
We'll probably put release dates there as well when they're coming out.
In the newsletter? Yes. Because the newsletter is actually released on the 1st of every month. So the newsletter is already live. So go to Come Get Woo Woo and subscribe today. We send them out every single month. So, yeah.
Yes, we try to be on clockwork and do it on the 1st.
Yes.
So the next we have is ether. Ether is the elemental intelligence of space and connection. Ether governs the unseen field that holds everything together: consciousness, awareness, and spaciousness. It represents presence, the quiet layer beneath movement. Unlike the other 4 elements, ether isn't tangible. It is the space that allows everything else to exist. The beings of the ether realm. The ether realm is less about localized Fae and more about vast archetypal consciousness. They are beings of pure energy, interconnectedness, and spiritual insight. We have angels and archangels, which are messenger beings of high vibrational energy that bridge the gap between human and consciousness and divine awareness. Then you have your higher self and ascended masters, which are expressions of perfected human consciousness, representing the ultimate integration of all elemental experiences. And lastly, spirit guides, which are non-physical entities that offer guidance, protection, and insight from a broader perspective. Animals like owls, the song of the whale, and the transformation of a butterfly embodies ether's energy, intuition, journeying between worlds, and soul's evolution. If you are experiencing profound synchronicity or total shift in life's perspective, ether energy is likely active.
And as far as the direction of ether is actually the center, and it's interconnection for everything. So ether does not belong to a compass point. It's an axis mundi, the hub of the wheel. It is the absolute center of your being, where all other elements, the north, the south, the east, the west, intersect and balance. So there is no time of day. It's just the stillness and its timelessness. Ether exists outside of linear time. It is found in the gaps between breaths, the silence between thoughts, and the moment of absolute stillness before action. It is the timeless space where past, present, and future are one. Once again, there is no season. It's the between the seasons, the void of potential. Ether is the atmosphere between the seasons. It is the liminal space where one state of being dissolves and another begins. It is the pure, unmanifested potential from which all form arises. Its attributes actually are oneness, integration, and potential. Ether is the binding agent of the universe. It is the consciousness that allows the integration of our intellect, air, the passions, which is fire, emotions, which is water, and the physical body, which is earth, to a unified whole. It is the source of all potential. When ether is amplified, you might experience deep stillness, the feeling of being connected to everything at once, or the movements of expanded awareness. Ether functions by holding space. It doesn't push, burn, or flow. It simply allows. It is the silence between thoughts and the space between breaths and the awareness behind experience. Some of the ways it might show up is actually moments of unified awareness. Ether like we were talking about, often shows up in subtle ways. You might be sitting in meditation and suddenly feel spacious, looking at the stars and feeling small, but deeply connected, or experiencing a moment where all duality disappears. It's not dramatic, it's quiet. Sometimes it's just the sense that you are aware of being aware. Pretty profound.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the ways that you can actually work with it: presence, practice for integration. Ether supports stillness and profound awareness. If you feel overstimulated or disconnected from your purpose, ether invites you to return to the center. So sit in silence for a few minutes without needing any outcome. Focus on a pause between inhale and exhale. Close your eyes and notice the space behind your thoughts. You might even ask yourself, who is noticing this moment? So, Ro, after listening to all of this, what is your favorite element?
I'm just going to have to go with air because I'm an air sign.
I was going to go with water because that just, it embodies me. So, maybe that's why we're supposed to be the way we are.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Or fire's nice. It's got the passion and stuff. But I am an air person all the way.
Well, here's the funny thing about it is, if you look at my astrological chart, I only literally have one thing in Earth. So it's actually very important for me to ground because I don't have a lot of ground in my chart.
Oh. You have to hug Teddy more.
I do. I need to hug Teddy more.
So did you know you can create an elemental altar?
No. Do tell.
Yeah, you could set up a small space like a tabletop or a shelf or even a tray, and you create a physical focal point that anchors all 5 elements in one spot. You don't need a massive spot. Just lay these items out in a circle or a grid in front of you. The center is going to be ether, which is spirit, a candle that represents the source light, or a special crystal like quartz, or just a clear open space. This is the presence that holds everything else together. So on the east side, which is air, use an incense burner or a feather or a bell to represent air. And south is going to be fire, a single red candle, a small bowl of charcoal, or pictures of a bonfire. And west is going to be water, a small bowl or a chalice of water, or a beautiful seashell. And north is going to be earth, so you can place a small bowl of soil, a specific rock, or a plant or a pile of salt. Instead of moving around the room, you're interacting with the altar to harmonize your own energy with the elements. If you want to clear and center, which is going to be your east and your center, you light the incense, which is air, and the center candle, which is ether, and set the intention, I clear my mind and anchor my presence. If you want to ignite flow and water, you're going to look at the south and the west. Light the south candle, fire, and touch the water bowl, which is water, and set the intention, I ignite my passion and balance my emotions. Now to ground, which is going to be your north, place a hand on the earth bowl or hold an earth stone and set the intention, I ground my energy into the physical world. I like that.
That it reminds me of Buzzy. Like feng shui.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Now that we're ending this part of the elementals and the natures, Becky, do you want to go over the land and place of consciousness?
Yeah. So Land consciousness governs the energetic signature of specific geographic locations. So, history, memory, local spirits, and unique vibrations of place. It represents the genius Loki, which is a spirit of place, and our symbolic relationship with earth beneath our feet. These beings are not Fae. They are a consciousness of the land itself, acting as guardians, recorders of history, and architects of local environments. So you have the genius Loki, which is the spirit of place. It's a collection of consciousness of the specific area, a valley, a forest, or even a city neighborhood. They are the sum total of the land's energy. So you also have the geomatic guardians, which are spirits responsible for the flow of ley lines and earth energy within a region. They ensure the land's energetic health. Ancestral spirits of the land are the energetic imprints of those who've lived on and cared for the land before us. They hold history and lessons of the location. So localized Fae, which is specific Fae, like the Neads in a local spring or the Dryads in a local grove, bound to that exact spot. Animals like the wisdom of the owl, the gentleness of the deer, the memory of the ravens, and the trickster adaptability of coyotes represent the unique energy of local ecosystems. If certain animals appear frequently in your area, they are likely messages of the land's current state. So, as far as direction and the correspondence for these groundedness, which is the intersection of north and center. So it's kind of right between. The time of day is twilight, which is the bridge between times. And the seasons are the equinoxes. So it's balance between light and dark. And some of the attributes are the memory and the local history.
I can go over how the land functions.
Okay.
When land consciousness is amplified, your awareness of your physical environment increases. You may notice a sudden empathy for a local tree, a deep sense of peace in a specific spot, or an urge to protect a nearby natural area. Land functions by mirroring and holding. It reflects the actions of those who live there and holds the memories of the past. It doesn't move quickly, it endures. So, how it might show up. In land, for sensing the genius Loki, land consciousness often shows up as a feeling of belonging or unsettledness in a new place. You might feel a specific pull toward a certain spot in a park, hear stories about local hauntings that reveal a spot's history, or feel a deep gratitude when tending to your local environment. If you ever felt instantly relaxed in a specific forest or uneasy on a street corner with no apparent reason, that's land consciousness resonating with you.
Do you think that if you're like, oh my God, it's on my bucket list going to Ireland or something like that, do you think that's what they're talking about?
Oh, I think it can be. Like there's a calling for you, but this is, yeah, I don't see why not. I think you could also be called to it.
Yeah, because you obviously have some kind of history there without even knowing that you have history there.
How to work with land. You can offer localized rituals for symbiosis. Land consciousness requires interaction to form a relationship. If you want to feel more anchored and respectful of your home, land invites you to listen and offer. Find a local spot that feels powerful to you. Sit quietly and listen to the sounds and feel the energy of that specific place. Make a respectful offering like pouring water, leaving birdseed, or simply speak in your gratitude to the spirits of the land. And ask yourself, what does this specific piece of earth need from me right now?
I like that.
Yeah, very easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't we have something like domestic realms?
Yes. And this is, uh, it's a little bit different and a little bit more personal than what we just went over. So the domestic realm governs the energetic signals of your living space. So the physical structure, the land that sits upon it, and the emotional tone built over time by those living there. It represents the personality of your home, the rhythm, the memory, and the mood that mirrors and amplifies your daily life. There are beings that reside in this realm. These are sentient energies that inhabit and protect your home, often arising the accumulated care and intention of its occupants. So you have the house guardian, a protective entity tied to the physical structure of your house, ensuring safety and stability. You have hearth spirit. This is the nurturing fae focused on the kitchen, the fireplace, or the center of the home, governing warmth, nutrition, and domestic harmony. You also have ancestral spirits, which is the energy imprints of those who've lived in the home before, influencing the atmosphere with their history. So I just found that really fascinating because we've been on our Monday night meetings when Nancy actually could read. She would be like, "I've never read a house like the way I can read yours." Yeah. So she could always read my house very well before I sold it. And it was quite amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
So common domestic indicators can include the state of the kitchen, which is nourishment, the cleanliness of the entryway, which is protection, also the order of the bedroom, which is rest. If your home feels chaotic, it's likely mirrors the rushed and reactive lifestyle that you live.
Oh, yeah. Guilty. Just like the elements, the domestic spirit also has geometry of the home. The center is the heart of home. And just as ether, it is the center of the elements. The home is the center of your personal universe. It is the anchor point where all your energy converges, making it the sacred space where you hold your boundaries and build your life. The time of the day that is best is evening. It's a time of rest and reflection. Evening is when the frantic energy of the day dissolves. It is the time for returning to your sanctuary, reflecting on the day's events, and allowing the domestic spirits to soothe you into rest and restoration. And the seasons, all of the seasons. Home is not limited to one season. It is the constant container that protects you through the heat of the summer, the cold of the winter. It is the unwavering shelter providing stability regardless of the external chaos. And its attributes are harmony, security, and accumulation. These are the energies of the thriving home. Home is for creating peace, which is harmony, protecting your loved ones and treasures, which is security, and gathering the resources and the memories to sustain you, which is accumulation. So how it functions. The domestic realm functions through reflection. It mirrors what is happening inside it, emotionally, energetically, and practically, rather than creating it. Harmony or conflict. Laughter and peace make a space feel open. Repeated arguments or stress cause tension to linger. Cleanliness or stagnation. Order and airflow make a space breathable. Clutter and neglect make the energy feel stuck. Intentionality or chaos. Rituals and habits shape the rhythm. A rushed life creates a scattered atmosphere. So how might show up? The domestic realm shows up in subtle atmospheric ways. A house that feels happy, like walking in and instantly relaxing, feeling welcomed, and wanting to stay. This reflects the consistent care and positive rhythm. Now, a room that feels heavy, like avoiding a certain room, feeling tense in a specific corner, or noticing conflict repeating in the same space. You may feel a sudden calm after cleansing, like feeling lighter after cleaning, or rearranging your furniture, or opening windows to disrupt that stagnation. Working with the domestic realm is about tending to your space like a relationship, not fearing bad energy. How do you work with it? You speak gratitude. You say thank you to your home for the shelter it provides to shift your posture from your ownership to your partnership. Clean with intention. Focus on what you're clearing emotionally as you wipe the surfaces, treating cleaning as a way to reset the atmosphere. Open windows to circulate the air, to literally move what feels stuck and restore flow. Or light a candle. Use fire to symbolize warmth, protection, and set an intention for peace in the home. Well, I got through that. Those are easy ways.
I was just thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I got to clean my windows now.
Sometimes the windows are the hardest to clean. Outside anyway.
Those are great, simple things to do that you can help you clear things. I like that. Thank you.
They've all been very simple and to the point and easy to do. So I love that too. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Before we close today, here's something to keep in mind. Working with the elementals isn't about mastering every realm or memorizing every being we talked about today. It's about awareness. These forces are already moving through your life every single day, in the way your thoughts shift in the wind, in the way fire shows up as motivation or anger, in the way water moves through your emotions, in the way earth holds you steady when everything else feels uncertain, and in the quiet space of ether where everything simply exists. You don't need to go looking for magic. You already have it inside you. This world is alive and we are part of it, not separate from it. So this week, try something simple. Pick one element you felt most connected to while listening. Just one. Spend a few minutes with it. Breathe with air, light a candle with fire, touch the earth, sit with water, or simply be still and notice the space around you. No pressure, no performance, just presence. Because the more you notice, the more this entire world starts to respond. I love that.
I do too. I love that.
Yeah. I love doing this episode. It was so much fun.
I agree. It was actually very fascinating.
Becky, what are we doing next week?
So in our next episode, we'll actually be stepping into the Fae Kingdom itself, something that really fascinated us and honestly opened a whole new layer of this conversation. It's a little different and a little unexpected, and we're excited to explore what that realm actually is and how you might how it might show up for you. Here are the words for this week from the Woo-Woo Seekers Journal, A Journey for Your Signs and Symbols, Book 1, Happiness and Harmony. See what rises, see what resonates. You can find the meditations for these words on our YouTube channel at Woo-Woo Seekers. All the words can be found with direct links in our newsletter that can be found on comegetwoowoo.com, with new meditations released the first of every month. If you want to deepen your journey, explore our other meditations, Sacred Tree and Soul's Garden, also available on our YouTube channel at Woo-Woo Seekers. And don't forget to check out our companion meditations, which is actually on at Come Get Woo Woo on YouTube. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for getting woo-woo with us today. If something sparked a memory a message, or just made you smile, share it with a fellow seeker, because the journey is always better when you can grow together. Be sure to find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Woo Woo Seekers, so you can like, follow, and subscribe.
You can also follow us by visiting our website, comegetwoowoo.com. We are so much more than just another podcast. We're building a community of seekers just like us. We love hearing from you. If you've got signs, symbols, or stories that you want to share, email us at woowooseekers@gmail.com. Or any questions about today's episode, you can email us at comegetwoowoo@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and as always, come get woo-woo with us.